Hello, listeners. Rob here. I just want to apologize and let you know that unfortunately we were having problems with our Skype call during the recording of this episode, and some of our recording actually got corrupted. So we are missing a good 20 to 30 minute chunk of time off the end of the recording. And again, I do apologize. I tried to recover it as best I could. But unfortunately, a lot of it just was completely cut out. So, again, my apologies. So we are missing a chunk of our discussion about Child's Play, but I think what we got was pretty good. So I'm going to put it together as best I can and release it for you. So, again, my apologies, but this stuff happens, you know? So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show. The following podcast will contain spoilers, strong language, graphic violence, and nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. I have a date with a 6-year-old boy.
Four guys and a movie. Four guys and a movie. Donnie, Brian, Rob, and Joe reviewing movies for the show. Four guys and a movie.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the 4 AM podcast.
Classic.
The podcast for Dorks by Dorks. I'm your host this week, Rob. My friends today are
Will.
Tony.
And Joe.
And today we are taking a look at the 1988 film
Correct.
Child's Play by Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Not that Tom
Oh,
Holland.
wow.
No, it's not the same one.
He was
I
just
don't
a
even
lad.
think he was born yet.
Good
He was just a
grief.
fetus.
Yeah.
Yes. But this Tom Holland is the one that also brought us Fright Night, Fatal Beauty, and Thinner.
Thinner?
Thinner.
I feel like Thinner came out like pretty close to this, didn't it?
No.
Thinner
No?
was like late 90s, right?
Yeah,
Was it late
1996.
90s? Oh, okay. I thought it was early 90s. Like, I didn't think this movie came out as late into the 80s as it did. I was thinking, like, this was like 85, 86 jam.
Yeah, it does kind of feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, nope.
So this came out after, like, My Buddy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
so
the
it was
Cabbage
a
Patch
parody.
so on that note, Joe,
hmm
you ever seen Child's Play before?
Only parts of it, and I've seen like reviews of it.
Okay.
So I never actually did see the whole movie through.
All right. Tony, how about you, man?
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Okay, Will, how about you?
I think this
Well-
is the...
Yeah, sorry.
Tony,
I
with a
don't know
rebuttal?
what more there is to say. This
No, it's
is
fine.
a movie I've seen numerous times. I've seen all of the sequels, which, oh boy.
You've seen
Um,
all the sequels?
I've seen all of them.
Why?
There's like 6 or 7 now, right?
The-
Yep.
That's more than
7
that.
and a remake.
Does he
Yeah.
get into space?
No.
Okay.
Whoa.
At least not yet. But technically they're still going, so we'll see.
Gross.
I've not seen the I've not seen the remake, and I've not seen the Cult of Chucky, and then there was one more that was more recent, right?
Yeah, Curse of Chucky.
Chris, I've not seen those. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are somewhat
Solid.
better.
Okay.
Well, the bigger problem I have is more background information that makes it a little awkward. But
Sure.
All right. Well, I've also seen this movie many times, weirdly.
what?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
random.
I have.
There's
It
no
is
dinosaurs.
random. It's random and unlike me. Yeah.
Is it just because it has toys in it?
No, because it really only has one toy in it.
Well, it's
there's
got a
that
lot
sweet-
in that.
There's that sweet tool set.
Yeah, that toy store in the beginning had a lot of toys.
Oh
Sure.
yeah,
That motherfucker had
that's-
Fireball Island.
and Dizzy Dinosaur.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I mean, I had Dizzy Dinosaur. That wasn't like a big draw. My dad shot that thing to hell with a gun.
Whoa.
Who cares?
Did it,
What is
did it
Dizzy
become
Dizzy
evil, or
Dinosaur?
did he just see it and was like, that has to go?
No.
Somewhere in the middle.
He just, like, I don't know. There came a point where he was like, you know what? These kids aren't using these toys anymore. I'm going to use them for target practice.
What is Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur?
It was a board game, so...
Oh, he shot a board game?
No, well, here's the thing. It's a child's board game, so it came with this giant wind-up dinosaur toy. So you'd wind it up and like put it on the floor, and it would like go around in circles, and like wherever it stopped, I guess that was it. I don't remember exactly how the game was played.
Sounds
But...
great.
Because your dad shot it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It had a bullet in its brain.
riddled with bullets.
He sure did.
So yeah. So yeah, I've seen this movie a few times because I thought it was great. Tony, tell us more about this film.
Well, have any of you seen the episode of WCW Nitro where Rick Steiner attempted to have an argument with Chucky, where Rick Steiner was in the wrestling ring and Chucky was on the big like jumbotron?
I saw that clip.
Yeah, and like all of Chucky's stuff is pre-recorded and all of Rick Steiner's stuff is live, and they do not match up at all.
Oh boy.
Like, I don't know if it was what they told him it was going to say, he's not saying, but yeah, that conversation goes off the rails fast.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't exactly know what you'd be expecting out of watching a 300-pound man argue with a doll in the first place, but...
Well, they wanted to promote their movie, and WCW's like, we will take your money, thank you.
Yeah.
Was it this Child's Play, or is it another one?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that was Bride of Chucky.
Oh, yeah.
That's when he also appeared on Saturday Night Live
Gross.
for
I
a
remember
weekend
seeing-
update.
I remember seeing Bride of Chucky a lot because my dad had HBO, so when I would go to his house, I would just watch HBO constantly, and for some reason, Bride of Chucky was on there a lot.
Now, those dolls bang in that movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was in the commercial, so I was kind of like, no
Jennifer
for...
Tilly doll.
Yeah, no for that, and B, no for just Jennifer Tilly. So...
Oh.
Oh, no.
No, Jennifer Tilly's cool. That one I
Um,
kid about, but I don't want to see two dolls get it on.
Okay,
Yes.
Before Tony gets into the details, I don't know if now's the best time to bring this up, but there was a major fat chat foul yesterday that I want to discuss.
Uh-oh, alright.
All right.
Outside of the movie.
Now,
Yes,
is
unrelated.
this
This
just
is in the real
general-
world.
wait, just to be clear, is this general Fat Chat discussion, or is this going to be Fat Chat court?
Might be fat chat court.
Okay.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna ask that you change the names to protect the potential innocent.
Okay, so I was texting Blob yesterday. Blob, brother of Shmoney. So I had a medical thing I had to do yesterday, and they wanted me to fast like 12 hours prior, so I couldn't eat any breakfast in the morning, or I couldn't have any late night snacks the night before.
That's
Yeah.
impossible for me.
I know, it sucked.
It was
So I woke
impossible
up,
for Will, too, pretty much.
I woke up, and of course my wife picked yesterday to make like a really, really awesome breakfast, and I was like, nope, can't eat anything.
Well, what's wrong with you?
So I texted Blob, and I was like, what should I have for when my fast is over? And I was like, Taco Bell, ? And Blob proceeded to badmouth Taco Bell and say I shouldn't eat it, and
Wait,
talking all kinds of shit about Taco Bell.
Let me see. I think I could get Bob
Hey, this
on
is
the
mine.
line.
This is.
I think I might have a transcript of this conversation.
Wait until your turn to submit evidence to defend yourself, Blob.
Okay,
Yeah, wait
so
till you're called to the stand, Blob.
So the medical thing happens, and I'm able to eat, and I'm like, you know what? Screw Blob. I'm gonna go to Taco Bell. So I drove through the drive-through and got, too much, as always, as you do at Taco Bell. I got like one item too many.
And how did you feel after?
I was fine. And I was sitting there eating my Taco Bell, and what car do I see?
In the parking lot? You
Yeah.
were eating the Taco Bell in the parking lot.
Yes.
Oh, he just fasted for 12 hours. I mean, it's
12
yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
That's
that's
So,
that's a
like,
lot to ask of a
A
fat
s-
chat member.
a sleep and a little bit more.
All right, so I was sitting in there in the parking lot enjoying my cheesy gordita crunch, and who do I see drive through the parking lot, drive through the drive-through, and drive on his merry way, stuffing his face with a CGC and his little Autobot car, none other than Blob himself. I rest my
Okay.
case.
So what you're saying is this is a fat chat foul for hypocrisy against Taco Bell.
Hypocrisy at large.
Mm-hmm.
uh.
All right.
Well, okay, hold on. Before we pass judgment. Blob, did you want to state your case?
Yeah, I'd like to offer a rebuttal. So this was the text chain. So this was from Swill. I have to fast until 11 today. What should I eat after? I said everything. And then I changed my mind and I said, actually, just something light and pig out tomorrow for the podcast. And he responded with, so just one CGC? Now, for those of you lightweights out there, CGC is a cheesy gordita crunch.
Found
And I
exclusively
said-
at Taco Bell.
I said, LOL, just the lettuce from one. And then he responded with, maybe McDonald's. And that was the last we spoke of it.
All right. Well, there's not a lot to go on there, Will. I don't see you I don't see Blob speaking ill of Taco Bell in there.
I know, it was just funny to see him drive through the drive.
Yeah,
All
also I did not eat that food until I got home, like a grown-up.
Yeah, I think there are a few key points to touch on here.
Who's the judge, you or Tony?
Both of
I
us.
mean, Schmoney.
Yeah, Bro and Schmoney are both judges here.
Well, no, I am Judge Tony in here. Shmoney has not been called to the stand.
That's true. Yeah.
Schmoney.
hmm
But,
So, a couple points. One, not fully related to this case, but somebody I know did just eat Taco Bell and then immediately have to go to the hospital to have their gallbladder removed.
Wait, can you repeat that? My Skype went out for a second.
Someone I know did recently just eat Taco Bell and then immediately had to go to the hospital and had their gallbladder removed.
Oh God, were the two related?
I mean, it was
I don't even know
like
what the gallbladder does.
it holds bile.
Oh God, yeah.
So yeah,
That's
you're gonna need a
bile-related.
lot of that when when you get some Taco Bell in your system.
Mostly bile.
Yeah.
So there's that. Two, I feel like everyone trash talks and like talks a bunch of shit about Taco Bell and then always goes back. It's like that one ex that'll always take you back, that you know you can always count on to be there when you need them, but you still hate them.
They're gonna make you be in the toilet later.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna hate yourself for going there, but they're gonna be there. So I feel like even if Rob had talked a bunch of shit against Taco Bell, Blob, I'm sorry.
And I talk shit about Taco Bell all the time.
Yeah. Even if Blob completely, I guess because it's a text, it would be libel. Completely just libels the hell out of Taco Bell. I still think you're not quite a hypocrite there. So yeah, I think in this case Blob would be innocent.
Okay.
my ruling was somewhat similar. Starting with Rob is hypocritical about a lot of things. You should know this by now and just roll with it. Oh, come on. A big one being you will constantly talk shit about Taco Bell and yet go there anyway. You do it all the time. So
Because it's gross.
yeah, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying.
I mean,
But
that's a fact that everyone takes for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing is, weirdly in this case, he did not actually seem to talk shit about Taco Bell. So
Well, I think it sounds like we'll really never know.
No, it sounds like we know.
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
It's a pretty open and shut case. I think
sounds like
for
you lost and you don't like that.
That's fine.
I think for judgment, Blob gets to he gets 60 seconds of pure unadulterated shit talking about Taco Bell beginning now.
Okay. So when I had the Taco Bell yesterday, immediately I had to take a shit, which is why I would never eat it in my car, because that's the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Because it's pretty much shotgun spray diarrhea. Like the second it hit my stomach, like as soon as it passed the tongue and into my intestines of any kind, it's just straight back out. And that's pretty much just the sauce. It's not even the food. So. You know, I've been
What was the
really.
quality of your CGC yesterday?
CGC was pretty good. It was a little on the cold side.
Oh, well, because you waited till you got home.
Well, yeah, because
rest my
I don't
case.
want to shit in my car.
Yeah,
There's a trade-off, man. It's delicate balance.
All right.
Swill eating in his car is not currently on trial, but I do not necessarily agree with that I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, yeah, I would not.
It was wrapped and placed.
Myself.
It was wrapped and placed in an insulated bag, so it was
All right.
probably cold when they packed it for me.
Lob, your minute of shit talking against Taco Bell is now over.
I love you, Taco Bell.
It is time to proceed with the podcast.
See you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
So where were we in this podcast?
We haven't started yet.
Yeah. Like usual,
Tony-
we're an hour in and
Yeah.
haven't talked about the movie yet.
Tony has to have some background information about the movie.
So originally the movie was written to be a commentary on the fact that, marketing and how a lot of it is aimed at children and the horrors that come from that.
That's what I got from this movie.
Well, that's the original title was Batteries Not Included until Steven Spielberg kind of took that wind out of their sails. So they changed it to Bloody Buddy because in the original script they were going to, how they wanted them to be like modern toys, which could cry and pee and poop and all kinds of stuff. So they were going to actually have blood in them that when they got hurt, they would bleed, and you could buy little bandages for them. Weird, but
So was
hey.
there like a premise to that movie, or was it just gonna be?
No, there was, which was initially it was also going to be more of a thing where the kid was just a little deranged, and you weren't, for most of it, you weren't supposed to know if it was the kid killing people or the doll. And the kid actually, when he got the My Bloody Buddy, he did a blood pact with it, and it caused the doll to come to life. And whenever the kid would go to sleep, the doll would come alive and take out people that were mean to the kid during the day. That obviously got vastly changed around. So we decided to make it a whole thing about a serial killer who got his name from other major serial killers, much like Sid 6.7.
Yeah.
With Charles Lee Ray coming from Charles Manson, Lee Harvey Oswald, and
James Earl Ray.
Yes, James Earl Ray.
Oh, yeah.
But then for casting, they at one point they were talking apparently with Gary Oldman, and were strongly leaning towards John Lithgow to be the voice.
Okay.
Before they ended up on Brad Dourif. At some point in there, and I can't find out exactly why or how or what, but I guess the lines for Chucky were recorded by Jessica Walters from Arrested Development.
Really?
Yes.
The ones the toy voices say?
Yeah, I so want to see that somewhere or hear it, or because that's crazy.
But just the recorded toy voice, right? Not Brad Dourif's lines.
Yeah, Brad Dourif's lines.
Really?
Yes.
Like the "you bitch, I'll kill you"
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I want to
that
hear
way.
her yell, "You cocksucker! I'll teach you to fuck with me."
Fuck you, Humperdinck.
Obviously, they got a lot of inspiration from things like the Twilight Zone and the Trilogy of Terror, stuff like that, with the Chatty Cathy type dolls that end up being some kind of issue with killers. Sorry. The movie also had some impact on the real world, like causing some problems with the My Buddy sales. And apparently
really?
there was a chain of stores called the Good Guy stores that had a lot of prank calls and people coming in looking to buy the toy. And I guess in the original, when they originally made the movie, they had a ending theme song for Chucky that they ultimately took out because it is awful and makes him seem far less threatening.
Well, if the movie had come out like 6 years later, it definitely would have kept that song, I'm sure.
But you can still find that online, and I will post a link for you guys to listen to it later if you want.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Better or worse than the My Cousin Vinny song?
Ooh, tough call.
Okay.
It's not sung by Joe Pesci, but it's bad. It sounds like it should be on Sesame Street.
Now, the My Cousin Vinny song or the Wise Guy song by Joe Pesci?
Do I know the Wise Guys? I don't know if I'm familiar with the Wise Guys song.
Well, it's Joe Pesci rapping about, being in the
Being a
mob.
wise guy.
Oh.
Yeah, same kind of situation. But
Mhm.
so do you guys want to guess at how much money this movie cost to make?
Oh wow.
$3 million.
I'm gonna say $12 million.
I don't know, that little midget costume had to be a lot.
You think so?
4 million.
It was $9 million.
Oh,
Okay.
Will gets it.
Want to guess how much it made?
It's a
12
horror
million.
movie. I'm gonna say 40 million.
I'm gonna go with 50. 'Cause I think this was a hit.
And Will, you said 12?
Yeah.
It was $44 million.
Nice.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a big hit.
Wow.
All right.
No wonder there's been 7.
Jeez.
Still chasing that. Chasing that money.
Chasing that plastic dragon. Oh.
Well, yeah,
all right.
weirdly, this is one of the few times we had a sequel come out I think the same year as one of the remakes. So,
Great.
bizarre times.
Joe, who's in this amazing
All right.
film?
We got Catherine Hicks as Karen Barkley, Chris Sarandon, Prince Humperdinck himself as Mike Norris. Celebrate Black History Month with us as a pop-up that just came up on IMDb. Alex Vincent as Andy Barkley. Brad Dourif as Charles Lee Ray. And that's basically it.
So we'll celebrate Black History Month by watching a movie that I don't think had a single black person in it.
Oh,
It
the
had
Voodoo
one.
Doctor, of
It had
course.
one.
Oh yeah, the Voodoo Doctor. How could I have forgotten?
Of
Yeah,
course
maybe
it
not
would be
the
that
best
one.
portrayal, yeah, but
He is not in the IMDb list that I see.
Oh man, probably by request.
Yeah.
he must be in there somewhere.
All right, so
Go ahead.
we got Brad Dourif and his buddy. I get so they're like so. All right,
But
so he's a serial strangler.
Mhm.
Why does he have like a teammate?
He's not a driver.
he does the partner does the clamp.
Yeah.
The what?
Oh, he's clamps. Yeah, he's clamps.
Does the clamps. I've never heard of a 2-man strangler team before. That's all.
Well, after Virtuosity, we know Hollywood doesn't really understand the idea of a serial killer.
This is true.
Mhm.
Like they think serial killer and like insane supervillain are the same thing.
Well, I mean, he's also a supervillain, or he's a wizard at the very least.
Mhm.
Well, this was again basing
Note
this
to the
on
listeners
real-
out there:
This
wizards are not all villains.
I mean,
All right.
well, he is a villain. Sorry.
Sorry
go
to
ahead, Tony.
interrupt with that, Tony.
Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, but basing this again on real world serial killers, I forgot which one it was, but he, there was a real serial killer that had a secret partner, so that's why they kind of threw that in.
I know-
Also,
so-
by the way, the original cut of this was like over 2 hours long.
Oh, thank
And,
God! It was only 88 minutes.
yeah, this was a tight hour and a half. This is
Yeah,
Yeah.
really
Well, it
enjoyable.
was less than an hour and
But-
a half.
In the very beginning, you can see one of the scenes that, well, not see it, but you could see remnants of one of the scenes that was cut out, where the detective dressed as a woman, so Charles Lee Ray would attack
Yes.
him.
Hmm.
And that's why, if you look, the very first scene, you see the detective, he seems to be throwing something away. That was the dress he was wearing.
That's awesome.
Okay.
So, honestly, I think he just called Eddie for a ride home. Like, I think you're just like, I don't feel comfortable around this woman. I'm gonna go.
Her neck is way thicker than I'm used to.
Yeah, I don't like that Adam's apple.
It's
gonna
not
be hard to
strangleable.
strangle.
yeah, can't get my fingers around it.
So this kind of ties into like a note I put. It's like I know Brad Dourif would be too old at this point, but if they did like a Chucky prequel where it was just him being a strangler,
Hmm.
I think that would be kind of fun. Because I like his look, you know.
Voodoo.
Yeah, learning the voodoo. I like his jacket and his long hair.
So, this movie, yeah, it doesn't have time to mess around. So, like, the opening credits are going right, like, we're into action. There's no like right when it starts up, you get the Paramount logo or whatever. Then it's just like
There's no
gunfire and we're chasing people. And
There's
I
no
think Catherine
6-minute
Hicks's name
sequence.
comes up. Catherine Hicks's name comes up as he's being shot in the chest.
yeah. All right, so you got the Southside Stranglers on the run from Prince Humperdinck, who's shooting the shit out of him. He's about to get into the van with this guy Eddie, who's like, "Fuck that, I'm out of here." I think Eddie was just like, "Yeah, I don't want to be involved with you."
Yeah,
So-
I think it was he is his getaway driver,
Mhm.
but like he's totally cool with it when he just kills the person. But now somebody's shooting at him, like, oh,
Yeah.
I was part of this.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
Now there's gunplay involved.
He's okay with the strangling.
He's
So-
scared.
While Charles Lee, what's his
Ray.
name? Charles Lee Ray he's not the best at strangling. He's really good at getting shot because he's got like 2 bullets in him, and he's still like he bumbles into a toy store, and we
Shoots
see
the lock, but doesn't break the glass for some reason.
Mhm,
Yeah. He does seem to bleed more as a doll than he does as a human.
indeed, and he goes in and like you see all these cool toys from the 80s. Like I mentioned, Fireball Island and Dizzy Dinosaur. There was some skee ball in there.
It's a Godzilla.
There's a Godzilla. But he finds a giant pile of good guy dolls. And he kind of knocks into that. And just, though there's no like explanation, he just fucking casts a spell.
Yeah,
And like we're only like
and
2
it
minutes
seems
into
like
this
a last
movie.
resort. It seems like a last resort, but like,
Oh, definitely.
if you had that skill,
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know, that'd be like my first thing to do.
Indeed.
Well,
Maybe not into a
I-
doll, but like.
yeah, I
find
think that
another
was the
human.
thing is because he says I need to find someone. So I think he was hoping he could get to a person, but
Right.
then was like, well, since I'm here,
He's
maybe
like,
this will
"Shit,
work.
I tried crawling out. Gotta use my fucking voodoo magic.
Yeah.
And voodoo magic, of course, when cast, causes a lightning bolt to hit where the spell is cast, and a giant fucking like 80s fireball blows Humperdinck across the toy store. And of course, he's fine. He gets up. He's like, "We're good."
It's the king
Well,
of
that was-
Halloween Town.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that was animated lightning, so you know.
Mhm.
Yes,
Not as
well,
effective.
Yeah.
Yes, the
Humperdinck
Ghostbusters
should have been
took place
toast.
outdoors.
So we just cut now to inside someone's house. There's a happy birthday. Letters are hung up. I see the commercial for the good guy doll.
So I took a picture of
But
that.
here's the thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Hold on. I'm gonna send something to the chat.
Well, aside from the absolute nightmare-inducing commercial, this kid is watching the saddest cartoon that's ever existed.
Oh yeah. I don't have
so
any
first,
friends.
first of all, this cartoon is based on it's like Care Bears, but instead of like people that are upset or like having emotional situations, it's just a little kid or little doll creature that goes around helping kids with no friends
And it's hot air balloon.
in his hot air balloon. And
How is that different than Care Bears?
well, also this show apparently came out and has existed before the doll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the show's on, the kid says, I've this one again, I've seen this one already. And then it's like the brand new good guy doll is here. And then just monsters on the screen. But what they're saying is it's a brand new doll. You've been watching 6 seasons of the
Good guy adventure.
Lonely Hearts Club cartoon.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I will say this is the source of some contention online that I found.
The Chucky
Contention
Reddit.
online.
Yeah. Well, there seems that, like you said, many people believe, this does seem to be the introduction of the good guy doll, but everything else in this movie seems to leave the evidence that there was a doll prior, because it looks like this is the first time the kid's actually seeing it. His mother already has a wrapped gift of accessories for it not under the tree, but waiting for him.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the new doll of the season. Like it came out like in the last couple of months, probably, but presumably
But
the
that's the
show's
thing.
been
Is
on
this
for
the
years.
introduction of the doll, or is this a new version of the doll, or is this
said
Just
it was-
like
Netflix.
Fat Chat Court, I guess we'll never know. I
except
sent
that
a,
time? we
I
did.
sent a picture in the chat of that
thank you
giant
for that.
that
Appreciate
giant
that.
Chucky mascot.
yeah, I
What if-
immediately closed that.
Yeah.
What if
Yep.
what if Chucky he couldn't find the doll in the toy store, but the only thing he could reach in time to use his voodoo on would be like some giant ass.
Way more
Giant
frightening
ass
movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Imagining that thing just going like "Brrr," running at
Five
you.
Nights at Chucky style.
I like that its eyes are like not quite pointing in the same direction. I also like that apparently for some reason it looks like it's a treehouse, I guess, but
It's an indoor treehouse.
there's like a very intricate ship model in the back.
Everybody's welcome.
It's like your child treehouse with an old man's like smoking room in it.
Sounds pretty.
All right. I couldn't give less of a crap about the doll because we gotta go once again to Fat Chat Court twice in one episode.
So
Oh,
Andy and I just happened to make the same breakfast today.
Yeah. So
Wait, can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
I think it's no longer fair for you to blame Taco Bell for your shits if you're eating like this.
If you get a Fruit Loops with 7 giant spoonfuls of sugar on top,
Yeah, you mean having a little bit of cereal with your bowl of sugar? Yeah.
sugar milk.
charcoal essentially, charcoal cereal with half the tub of Country Crock thrown on
Oh
top
god,
of it.
that brought back memories.
Good.
And then spill enough of the orange juice and milk so that they're mixed together.
And on the fucking floor for your
yeah.
single goddamn mom to clean up.
All right,
I'm
so
automatically against this kid.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. All right, we're all in agreement. It's the evidence is clear that many offenses have been committed. Does he get a reduced sentence because he's a minor? I mean, he is 6 after all. He's
He
trying.
doesn't have a fat chat dad around to show him like
No Fat Chat Dad.
what to do. We never find out what
Yeah.
happened to the dad.
Where
Well-
we're not sure his Fat Chat education level yet. We don't know, how much of that he got in school.
I think he's got to go to juvenile fat chat
Yeah.
prison.
This is a bit of a troubling one because while I want to be more lenient for his young age,
He sucks though.
he does suck. But we
Yeah.
later find out he's apparently adept enough to get a bus half across town by himself or a
Well,
train.
he's
So
got
Well,
an
Chucky
evil
was
doll.
whispering in his ear.
Yeah. Telling him
Yeah.
how.
But he's like, this kid is like one morphine shot away from Anakin. Like
Mm,
he's barely moving the knee.
Yeah, when he sees Chucky, he's like, "Are you an angel?"
mm. All right. So I'm thinking this kid, he doesn't go to like Fat Chat jail, but he's like an early intervention candidate. Like he's gotta get like he's gotta be taken away for counseling.
The court,
for a while.
the court becomes aware of his name and his situation, and they monitor.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're
His
going to send him to
progress.
boot camp in a couple of years, so
Yeah,
Right,
his
and
mother's
that's
losing
Child's Play
custody.
3, right?
Yeah.
that
Oh
was
no.
3 or 2?
That was 3.
He needs to go to fat camp.
Heavyweights. But with
Yeah,
should
like
go
from
to
heavyweights.
heavyweights,
Like
yeah.
he's got to go to that fat camp.
All right.
All
Is
right.
that what 3 is
Yeah.
about?
Yes, you're not
Sentence
fat enough.
passed.
I'm sending you away.
Well,
All right.
also, this is just a fucking foul in general. Waking your mom up at 6:30.
Oh, yeah,
I guess
that's
it's
some
his-
bullshit.
Yeah,
I guess
it's not.
his birth-
It's
I guess
not
it's his
Christmas.
birthday, but like, she's
Yeah,
single.
but that's a Christmas only thing. Like you can't.
Yeah.
You got all kinds of cartoons to watch, before mom gets up.
Fucking bullshit.
He's
But
a
it-
dumb kid.
If you don't
Yeah.
like that, there's probably This Old House playing on one
Mhm.
channel or another. Just figure it out, kid.
Yeah. So, yeah, poor Catherine Hicks gets introduced to this movie and wakes up to just a tragedy of a breakfast at 6:30 in the morning. And, she walks into the living room and you hear on the news there's a little bit about Charles Lee Ray being shot last night. She turns that off. Gives this kid a Chucky, well, not a Chucky, a good guy doll-shaped box that's full of clothes.
Fucking
That was-
brutal.
That was shenanigans, because no clothes come in a box like that.
And also,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
give the clothes. Well, I guess she was trying not to give the clothes first.
Yeah.
So that's at
No.
least a little fair.
No, that would be even worse. Because if he opened up Good Guy
Yeah.
Doll's accessories and then had a giant Good Guy Doll package,
Yes,
Mhm.
you're right.
my face
but-
would have dropped when I opened that shit.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though. If I was his mother, I would just be like, "You're lucky you got the clothes." Also, I gave you the clothes because you're gonna pack them and leave.
Wow.
I'm gonna send your ass down the Chicago
So-
River.
There's a reason why Rob doesn't have children. right.
There's a lot of reasons, but yeah.
So, yeah.
No, but this is a good example where this kid lies because he's not a complete dick about getting clothes, but he has a hard
He's
time
sad,
showing
yeah.
his disappointment.
mhm.
But then the mom does another fucking foul by just giving the accessories of a thing
Yeah.
without the actual thing. She seems like she's a bit confused about the whole good guys scenario, but come on.
She knows, because, like,
That she fucked up?
yeah, because she knows
Yeah.
he wants the good guy doll. So anyway, so she goes to work, and her coworker, what's her name, Maggie here, is like, yo, there's a random sketchy peddler in the alleyway selling a good guy doll. Let's
Sure.
abandon our shift to go get
Leave your
it.
post.
Yeah.
Yep, done. So they
yeah,
run out.
I
Go
was
ahead.
so mad at her here because she's like, do you want the doll or not? I would be like, yeah, I do, but not enough to lose my job. All right.
Yeah.
So what?
Give
Back
me
in
a
the day, what did like My Buddy and a Teddy Ruxpin cost you?
Like $30 or something?
No, Teddy Ruxpin would have
Well,
been a lot more.
It was more the fact that there wasn't like the internet or anything.
Yeah.
Like you were fighting someone for it. So
You
it
were
wasn't
on-
so much the cash. It was like, what were you prepared to do to get it? You know,
Okay.
how
Well, yeah,
much
but-
of a crime are you willing to perpetrate?
But I think with this one, there is also definitely a cost issue because My Buddy might only be like $30 or something, but like a Teddy Ruxpin with it could talk and the blinking eyes and that was expensive.
I
The
mean, it had
blinking
to
eyes
be
is going to cost you.
it had to be exercised, by the Vatican first
Well,
before being sold to you. There was a lot of expenses.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So why she didn't just give like some money to Maggie and say like, this is the most I'm willing to pay. Go get me the doll. I don't know.
We see why.
Yeah.
Because Maggie sucks, and she's like, "Oh, you want 100? I'll give you $5. Take it or leave it." She would have lost out.
So yeah,
And pocketed the money.
right, so she buys the doll, and then the guy's like the peddler. He looks like he has pork and beans for teeth. And he's walking away, and like Maggie's like, "Is this stolen?" And he's like, "Steal this," and does this awesome like crotch thrust at her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
that's a little taste of what
I
this
wouldn't
guy's all about. We find
I
out
wouldn't say
later.
awesome. Awesome's the wrong word, but he
We-
punctuates it with a crotch thrust.
That's a sign of things to come from this guy,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
I know what this guy's about.
Now, there were several points in this movie where I got emotional, and this is the first one, because she comes back in, and her manager, this Griswell guy, looks very close to the first store manager I ever had at Walgreens.
Oh no.
Very close. And he was just like, "Oh, you walked away from your post. Well, you have to work late tonight anyway, because, you don't get to say anything in the matter." It's like, do you value your job? Because I'll fire you if you don't.
Oh yeah. Well, also though, a point of fact, it's not just do you value your job, like, do you like working here? Which you should never ask a retail employee.
Yeah.
Because the answer is no.
And then, like, Maggie's like, "All right, I'll do it." And he's like, "I don't want you."
Yeah.
Fuck that. So Aunt Maggie agrees to babysit. And, And so, Mama Karen's at work. Aunt Maggie's babysitting Andy. And,
in the 2 hour cut, he probably makes some kind of sexual advance on her.
mhm.
That's got to be in there.
And so, Maggie has enough. I mean, I'm not Maggie. Karen has enough time to go home, give Andy the doll. It says its name is Chucky, and then Aunt Maggie comes back to take over. And interestingly enough, while Andy is playing with the doll turns its head on its own to watch the news to learn about this guy Eddie. Who is the dude who Chucky has vowed to kill because he abandoned him. So Aunt Maggie's like, we're going to bed. Sends Andy and Chucky to bed.
we see her
Turns the
doing-
TV off.
Do we see her doing cocaine at any point, or did I make that up?
That was all you, buddy.
I mean, it's
implied.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Really?
It got turned to the flower jar at the last minute.
Yeah, she definitely gave me the bearded guy from Die Hard vibes,
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think she has more like that little tube with the sniffer that you see in these movies sometimes where they don't want to show the cocaine, so the person has like a real quick
Yeah.
kind of thing. I think she has one of those. Yeah. So anyway, first you get the terrifying visage of Andy brushing his teeth. He's just like, ah! And then
This child's not
Chuck-
been shown how to do anything properly.
yeah. Now Maggie has
He's a
turned.
major latchkey kid.
Yeah. So Maggie has turned the TV off, and you see that the Chucky doll is sitting in the chair watching the news again. And so, Maggie's a little freaked out. She's like, Andy, why would you do that? Andy's like, I didn't do anything. She's like, shut up. Like, throws him in bed. Aunt Maggie's not having that shit. And so she tucks him in, leaves, and then cuts to like a shot of the, point of view of the doll kind of sneaking out of the bedroom door. And Maggie's sitting there like reading a book, and you just see in the frame in the background the little like horrible puppet goes skittering by. And, then, what you call it, he's moving a chair. So, at this point, Maggie hears him, and he sees that there's a chair in front of the door. And this is the point where I would be out. It's like in, how I would have only lasted like 5 minutes in Poltergeist. This is the time where it's like, friendship's over, I'm out. Because, like...
Oh, you're not even taking the kid with you?
Yeah, you put that chair... You did not put that chair in front of the door. You did not unlock that door. Like, I would have been like, okay, I'm opening the door, and I'll wait outside for the rest of the time. This, whatever's happening in there could happen. I'll wait outside till Mom comes home. So, yeah, now... So she puts the chair back, locks the door, and she's walking around, and now she gets the call from Karen, and like she freaks out because the phone rang all of a sudden, and they have a little conversation, and Karen's like, "Oh, is everything okay? I'll come home now," and she's like, "Nah, don't worry about it." I would have been like, "Yeah, come home now."
Yeah, might as
Yeah.
well. Come on, dudes, come on.
Because
now.
I'm leaving, so come home now.
Yeah,
Well,
Andy
yeah,
will be
that's
here
the-
when you get back.
That
Yeah.
definitely would be it's best for all of us if you do that.
Yep. Now, at first I was scoffing because Chucky picks up the toy hammer from the construction set, but then I realized I'm like, this is an 80s toy hammer. So, I mean, that's probably just the kind of hammer you'd get at Walmart now. That's probably
it's
what the
just like a
toy
ball,
set
it's a
came.
ball
yeah.
peen hammer.
Just a piece of metal formed into the shape of a hammer.
But like at the
Yeah.
same, so what's the what are the rules? What are the size versus strength rules here?
Okay,
It's like
so
when Ant-Man shrinks.
yeah, if you're not getting consistency in this movie,
No.
no, because he hucks this hammer right into her eye, and
like Thor.
like Thor, yeah.
Fucking
And
Mjolnir.
she like does a complete like pirouette, screams, and launches herself out the window.
Yep.
Like 20 feet back.
Yeah, she's like
like,
one
yeah.
into the room. She spins herself to the other end.
Nowhere
and jumps
near
out
the window. Like,
She had to like walk around counters and stuff to get there.
yeah. I mean, the only thing I could think of is the sheer terror that this little doll just threw a hammer in her face. Cause there's just like, I gotta go. That's the quickest way out. I don't care. Take my chances with
And
gravity.
that puppet drops hard onto that car.
Yeah. It falls right through her car. It's over. So now, Mom comes home, sees it's a crime scene, just runs in there. No one cares.
Yep.
Just runs into her house. Again, there's like, she's running past like 20 cops.
You could go into any crime scene if you just yell, "I live here."
Yep.
Well, not only that, but like she's at the apartment door before someone even asks if she lives there.
Yeah.
She just ran into this building. Was like, nobody's saying shit.
Like
So, see, Mom's got to take this like rickety ass elevator that like the main staircase goes around, one of those elevators without walls kind of deal, just in a cage. And then comes out and sees that indeed her house is the crime scene. No one gives a shit that she comes in there. No one's like, who's this random woman? Maybe she lives here. Maybe that's her best friend that got killed. Maybe that's her son that we suspect did it.
Maybe.
But,
I mean, it's not
I'm
like
not
there's-
going to check.
Photos or anything on the walls that would give any of this information away.
My
Go
favorite.
ahead.
I don't know if you caught this, but that one cop that was just sitting on the couch reading a newspaper,
Yeah.
like just No
Yeah.
fucks given.
So we'll get to the points of this scene in a second, but this scene basically ends where she's like, "All you cops get out of my house." Like, that's not how that works. Once they're in your house, investigating someone dying,
I
know,
mean,
they
it's
don't
not like
leave
it's a
till
crime scene, Joe. Come
Yeah.
on.
they don't leave till they're good and ready to. But he's like, "Oh, okay, all right. She doesn't want us here. Let's all go."
Yeah, she's got to clean up that kitchen,
Yeah, there's evidence she's got to clean up.
Lots of glass on the floor.
Yeah. So speaking of that, there's flour or sugar or something all over the floor.
Yeah, Officer
And-
Skellington is suspicious.
Yeah, there's little shoe prints, peat prints going through there, and the shoes, of course they don't match any of Andy's. So he's just like, I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. I got nothing.
Well, this is, again,
She was high on cocaine.
I don't understand any of what's happening. Because the dude somehow seems to match up the fact that there's flour on the counter with shoe prints in it,
Right.
and somehow connects that to her falling out a window 8 feet away. I don't know how, but doesn't even, apparently do the least amount of investigation that the kid does by discovering the toy has it all over the boots.
Well,
It's
it's because
like,
he's Andy, world's
Is there
greatest
blood
detective.
any? Do we see any blood from the hammer strike?
I don't think so.
yeah,
Yeah, I
don't
know.
Yeah, this movie's full of
I
inconsistencies.
felt like she didn't have time to bleed as she hurtled herself out the window.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, admittedly, this is probably all part of the giant extended Snyder cut we haven't gotten yet.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I think the cops just thought that was cocaine on the floor. It was like, she just snorted that and
Yeah, like it's
It's the 80s.
still the 80s
yeah.
for a little
So-
bit.
Chicago.
So now, Andy's like, hey, Chucky's shoes fit in those footprints, and everyone's like, shut up. And then,
I mean,
you know,
I don't know what I would believe in this scenario.
yeah. So now,
So this kid put his doll on the counter while he pushed his babysitter out the window.
It was
So-
Chucky, I swear.
so now, Andy's like, he's like, Chucky says his name is Charles Lee Ray, and he's been sent from heaven to play with him. If your kid says that, no.
He's going immediately to that weird orphanage
Yeah.
psych.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm
then,
not saying at that point. Go ahead, Raph. I'm sorry.
Then he got an idea. An awful idea. Jared from Subway had a wonderful, awful idea.
So I'm not saying that at that point you suspect the doll's evil or anything. You're not at that stage yet. But I think
Or
at
a
that
weird
point
pedophile
you
monster,
suspect that your kid
Oh,
is
yeah.
completely broken, and you need to get some help.
them all.
I get somehow she's a busy woman, so she hasn't seen the news. She doesn't know that this is a widely known killer.
Yep.
But if your kid ever has that specific of a 3-named person
Yeah.
for their doll, there's a problem and they need to see someone now.
Yeah, and you're living up in New York, and the doll's name is Charles Lee Ray. Like, that's not the name the kid's just gonna pick out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Leprechaun sprinkle ding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like
that's Will's doll's name. Everybody.
That would be a normal
Yeah.
kid name for a
Yeah,
doll,
he'd
not
have some kind of
known
weird
serial killer Charles
Yeah.
Lee Ray.
he'd have some kind of weird made up kid name, like he'd be like Eddie Twinkles or like, Boyaneer or something.
All right. Let's not bring boy in here into this.
What is that?
I'm only quoting that because that's a legitimate made up kid name.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So anyway, so what the hell? So now Mom's like, "Yo, Maggie just died. Like, don't joke around." And he's like, Chucky says that Maggie was a bitch and got what she deserved.
Yeah, that's strike
Again,
two that you're
yeah.
going to
Oh,
the
yeah.
mental hospital.
Yeah.
You're at least talking to someone.
At that
How
point, yeah,
horrible.
that's we're going to the hospital.
Yo, yeah.
Like, we're both spending the night at the hospital.
And the Chucky
Um,
doll is going in the dumpster.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing. Like, at that point, I would be like, we're going to the hospital, and that doll's not going to be here when this kid gets back.
Yeah.
He went
Wait.
back to heaven to his
yeah.
home planet.
I don't know if I would immediately jump to that one yet, Like, because I don't suspect the doll at this point. I wouldn't suspect the doll as evil, but he might have some issues with being around the doll. So I wouldn't take it with us to the hospital.
Yeah,
But it
no,
wouldn't be
definitely
thrown
not.
out just yet.
Yeah. So, like,
None of us
I'm
are parents, by the way,
Yeah.
so this is all just
Yeah.
amateur
Complete-
hour.
Oh yeah.
either way,
Everything we do is
yeah. I'm digging this villain so far on how he is. There's no like jump scares yet or anything. It's all just psychological scares right now. But I like how this villain is just totally taking advantage of this kid's innocence to like make the kid look like he's just going crazy.
Just
And-
like the Catholic Church.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just like the Catholic Church. So
Or
next
Jared from
day,
Subway.
yeah, Andy goes to school with his Chucky doll, which I don't know why you'd be allowed to take that to school, but sure.
Right. I
Um,
think they'd charge you for a whole,
yeah.
like, another student.
Indeed. And
Also,
yeah,
you have a hard enough time making friends. Do you really want to be the kid at school with the doll?
Well, I mean, now he doesn't need friends, so...
yeah, and
Fair enough.
you know, he immediately turns into a little delinquent and sneaks out the school. I mean, I think in the 80s, I'm pretty sure there wasn't like people out there checking or whatever that you got in or anything. Like,
No.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, now that totally there would be someone at the door who'd be like, "Yo, where are you going?" But
You have to be buzzed
yeah.
out.
I'm pretty sure, like back in the 80s, we all just lined up outside and door open, and we all just ran in. There was no like,
But this is
No one
also
checked.
again, this is again a problem with this kid because, like, all right, I get it. You have a newfound friend. You're super excited, you know. But like, he's telling you to say "bitch" to your mom, and then
yeah,
just cut out of school, go cross town to find some other hobo or something. Like, I would not just be like, yeah, let's do this.
Well, I mean, you know, the kid's going on an adventure. He's learning things. He's learning
Yeah,
how to
that's
take the
crazy,
train
though,
to a
man.
bad
Like-
neighborhood.
He's just straight up gone cross town
Yeah,
on his own. Like,
Yeah, he's not even
C
questioning
is
it.
C is for crack house.
yeah, just a 6-year-old kid and a giant doll,
Mm.
like an Ufgood sized doll,
Yeah.
just showing up in the neighborhood.
Also, is he just carrying around the cash for this shit?
No, I don't
No.
think he has money. I don't know how he's accomplishing this.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the doll just told him to like sneak on the train. No one's gonna care. You know,
Oh,
something
so the
like
doll
that.
also convinced him to jump the turnstile or something?
Yeah, probably.
Just walk under it. Walk
Yeah.
under the turnstile.
But again, at no point he's like, I'm not sure we should be doing this, Chucky. Like, no. Yeah,
Yeah,
go.
he's 6. Doll's talking to him. He's going on an adventure. So, all right. Now, here's where I start to disagree with some of the directions the movie's taken. Because I like, up until this point, you are not sure if it is Andy or the doll. The doll did turn its head on its own, but that's really the only thing you've seen. I mean, you'd be like, wow, it's kind of weird that Andy threw that hammer so hard that the woman flew out the window. But it's still somewhat possible. But now, like, Andy puts the doll down in just a random chair in a pile of debris, and he's like, I gotta go tinkle, and goes
And the
off
doll
to...
is stolen moments later.
Oh, well, but you see from the doll eyes, like, the doll just goes skittering across the street, like, super fast.
When in reality, it would be being passed around a group
Yeah.
of homeless dudes
Oh.
for their pleasure and entertainment.
That same peddler would be there, and he's like, Boomerang, you always do come back. Oh. So, all right, Chucky goes running off, and we see it's this like dilapidated house full of rats and whatnot, and it's also full of his friend Eddie. This house is gross. Chucky sneaks in. Eddie's like, I heard a noise. I'm just shooting my gun in that direction.
Yep.
Just cuz. And then Andy hears the gunfire, and he's like, oh no, I gotta go get Chucky.
Yeah, might get hurt.
Again, 6-year-old, you know, he doesn't know.
So,
wait, what? No,
What?
no. See, again, this is where I have a problem with that.
Mhm.
6-year-olds are old enough that they should know when you hear gunfire, don't run towards it.
6-year-olds now.
yeah,
6-year-olds in the 80s, no.
or like that might be GI Joe. I gotta see what's
Yeah.
up.
Sounds like someone's doing something cool over there.
It's okay if I'm in trouble. Optimus Prime will come save me.
Yeah.
Or good guy
You know,
will come get
we
me with his
haven't-
blimp.
We haven't gone through active shooter drills yet. Like,
Well, yeah, no, I get that, but You know, I mean, like, I don't know. It just seems like basic common sense. Like,
Yeah,
Which
but
a
you said
6-year-old
common
does
sense
not have.
And not only that, but like this kid specifically appears to be
disturbed.
lacking most of his brainstem. So
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the kind of kid who sees a fire and is like, "Let me put my hand in that."
yeah.
Like, no.
Oh, for sure.
Mm.
Oh, for sure.
All right. So Eddie just opens fire at nothing. Then he sees Chucky goes around and like turns the stove on, gets that like the gas going,
So
and
we
then
finally get to see Chucky's little hand
yep,
as disgusting claymation
Little-
sausage fingers,
Crinkly
yes, little
hands.
creepy mitt. Yeah,
or I guess Vienna sausage fingers.
Vienna sausage fingers. So Eddie sees Andy walking around the backyard, and then he hears like Chucky laughing, and at that point he's like, "Oh, that might be Charlie." So he just kicks in the door to the kitchen and opens fire. What he decided was the target
Just fires.
doesn't matter, just fires.
Fires.
Which
Um,
also, I like it at this point. That means heard a noise, shot at nothing. Just heard
Yep.
a noise, so I'm gonna
Exactly.
open fire.
That's
He's a
basically
kid.
that's how I
Well,
wake
yeah.
up every
Yeah.
morning.
Fair, but sees a kid walks by calling out a name, spins, has the restraint to not shoot the kid, then hears a noise in the kitchen again, immediately just opens fire at nothing.
Yeah. So now this is a bit excessive. Like this is a gas fire that probably a gun would not start. But I'll give you the gun starts the fire. The whole freaking house blows up and it implodes. Like it's both an explosion and an implosion, and like it's just a pile of rubble. And then you just cut to the police station, and mom's walking in, and like sees that the detective's like, yeah, your kid blew up a house somehow, killed this guy, and now we got to go check
We gotta
him
take
out.
him downtown.
Yeah. So, Andy's like, no, it was Chucky who did it. And they're like, stop kidding around. And he's like, Chucky, say something. And he starts punching the doll.
He does
And-
give a good little Tommy Wiseau freak out here.
And Dr. Runnin over here, he's behind the two-way mirror or whatever. And he's just like, all right, I've seen enough. This kid's crazier than a coconut.
He's like,
this world.
Yeah.
my professional opinion, this kid ain't right. Need to take him to the orphanage mental hospital downtown.
Diagnosis: bananas.
Yeah. So now, like many scenes in this film, they start well, but then they just get too out there. So like, mom comes home from the police station, right? Her son's been taken away to this mental hospital, and
He has Chucky.
still has Chucky, who I would have thrown out on the way home, but she did pay $30 for that. So she has Chucky, and she's like, maybe my son is not crazy. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna like yell at Chucky to say something, and like Chucky makes like the hi, I'm Chucky and I want to play or something like that. So she's like, oh, okay, my son is crazy, and then just gets his box and sees like as she's picking it up, the batteries that come with the doll fell out. At that point right
Dun,
there,
dun, dun.
yeah, I'm like, I'm going outside. But no, she's like,
This is Chucky's apartment now.
yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
confirm on the box that this thing needs batteries, which it does. And now, like, again,
She's a
so
real
now
Sherlock.
you know this thing is powered by evil. So,
By voodoo,
There-
white man
no.
magic.
no, I know my best friend just died, but I'm getting someone. I'm getting a neighbor. I'm getting someone. I'm going to be like, look, my best friend died. My son's in a hospital. I just need somebody to come in here and make sure I'm not going crazy. Let's look at this doll. But no, she goes over on her own, and the doll like turns its head around, frickin' Exorcist style. It was like, "Hi, I'm Chucky," and she's like, "Bah!" Drops it, and it scuttles under the couch.
She opens up the back, and obviously the batteries aren't in there. But I, for some reason, thought that when she opened it up, it was going to be like all bloody and gross.
Well,
Maybe
I mean,
that's in a
bec-
future movie, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe because is it because the
Well,
whole
sort of.
thing was that it's like turning into a person, right?
Yeah.
Sort
I don't
of,
know.
I
It's
guess
fucking
when,
made
when
up
it's
rules.
convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would have just taken the fireplace tongs and like, all right, you're going in the fireplace now.
So, yeah, that's strike 2. Now she starts up the no. She gets down there, lifts the little like flap to the couch up, and reaches her hand in there.
God damn.
No.
No.
Nope. The moment that thing scuttled under the couch, which I know there's no way it's capable of doing on its own, I'm out. But nope, she
Agreed.
grabs it, and then she throws lights the fire, gets that going.
And this
threatens
is
to
when we
throw
learned
this thing in the
Chucky has a bit
fireplace.
of a. This is when we learned Chucky has a bit of a potty mouth.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he did not get a gold star at school today. He calls her like every name in the book in a span of less than 5 seconds. He gets like at least that many swears out on her and just bites the shit out of her.
Yeah, that looked pretty painful.
I heard
Yeah.
they had the
That's what I
same line in The Lord of the Rings, but they had to cut it.
That's what I loved about this, though. It's just like I had to play cutesy all freaking, for the past 2 days or whatever. It's time to let the freak flag fly.
He's just
Yeah.
cussing out Faramir.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
Just fucking goes scuttling off, runs out the house fine this time, doesn't need a chair to get out the door somehow. And just takes the elevator down. And then she's like running down the staircase after it, but she falls over and Chucky gets away. So her only course of action is to go appeal to Detective Humperdinck, who is just like, I'm punched out, fuck you. I don't care. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to go to this bad part of town and look for the peddler that I bought it from.
The Head Wobble District.
Yeah, the Head Wobble District. And so she goes to do that, and then, Detective Humperdinck's like, God damn it. Like,
Don't
she's
go
going
there.
to the Head Wobble
Please
District.
don't go there. You're going to get raped if you go
Gotta
there.
follow her. Yeah, so, I mean,
I
so
said it
this
once,
is
I've said
this
it
is a
1,000
film.
times.
This is a film in the 80s, so literally, if you go anywhere, any male character's first reaction is going to be sexual assault.
Right.
That's just, I mean,
Especially dark alleys. That's
Yeah.
just.
as much as we
That's
love
why
that,
we don't record in person anymore.
yes, as much as we love the 80s, that's one trope that I really could do without.
Yeah, it's like a cheap. It's a cheap
Yeah,
thrill.
knowing what we know now about rape culture and stuff, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that was just every 80s movie. So yeah, this peddler, she meets
Now
up
we
with
know.
him.
Now we know not only if you walk down a dark alley, but behind the scenes, everybody working on the
Right.
movies potentially getting
Yeah.
assaulted.
Around one of the Weinstein movies.
Yeah.
So either she finds this peddler. He's like, yeah, all right, I sold you that doll, and she's like, where'd you get it? And she's like, I'll give you some money. And he's like, that's not enough. He's like, you got plenty more, and I'm gonna take it. And you just hear an unzipping sound. I'm like, I don't know how his pants got unzipped there, but he's
You don't wanna
already
know.
ready to go. Yeah. So
Chucky
fucking
unzipped them.
yeah. So fucking Humperdinck runs in and just knees this guy right in the groin. Pulls his gun out. Is like, anyone else want any of this? And they're all like, cheese it, it's the cops. And then. This guy's like, oh yeah, the doll, I found it behind a burned out toy store. So he's like, okay. Then the detective is like, oh shit, that's the toy store that Charles Lee Ray died in. And Karen's like, well, how do you know that? And he's like, 'cause I shot him. Murr, murr, murr. And she's like, well, there you go. There's a connection. And he's like, I don't give a damn. I'm going home. And she's like, all right, I'm still gonna go be in danger.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, which, again, this is a major problem. I was like, okay, the toy came from the toy store where I shot and killed Charles Lee Ray.
Mm.
The kid somehow also came up with that name for his doll. Now,
Yep.
even if you're not totally sold on the possession thing, there's something wrong here and it needs to be dealt
Yeah.
with. But no, yeah, I'm just going to go home.
So this next scene is one of the ones in the movie that just outright made me mad.
Mm-hmm.
So the Detective Humperdinck here, he gets a file on Charles Lee Ray, and he's like, I'm going to go home now. And, he gets in his car, he starts driving, and you see, the road, you see his face, and you're like, okay, well, he's been in that car for too
Dolls in the
long.
car.
Something
We
bad's
get it.
happening to him.
We
So-
get it, everybody.
Again, so several problems. Before we start addressing all of the minor ones, why doesn't he just fucking stop the car? just stop the car. Like, just step on the brakes. I don't care what Chucky's doing to the accelerator. Just step on the brakes and turn the key. Car stops. Then you can focus all your efforts to beating the shit out of this 2-foot-tall, like 10-pound doll at most.
Yeah,
Pull
for
the
that
e-brake.
matter,
Yeah.
you're probably
Whatever.
wearing a seatbelt. He is not. Hit
Yeah.
the emergency brake. It's gonna be bad news for Chucky.
Mm-hmm. So now, but no, he's accelerating this whole scene for no reason, and like Chucky's trying to like grout him with jumper cables, and it's like my trachea would tear that doll's arms off. Like,
But that's the thing. We don't know the rules.
yeah, they're really not clear.
Well, because there's no way to properly do that. Because I mean, if you're looking at it, it's a doll. It has no bones. It has no muscle. It shouldn't even be able to move.
Like it shouldn't even be able to get enough leverage to like hold.
Yeah.
Like how is it holding itself up?
Yeah, what's it
even on?
attached to? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is it like it's in that like seat pocket that you tuck like an atlas in or something?
Yeah, it's
Very
in your
precarious.
trash caddy.
Yeah. So now it's got a knife and it's stabbing through the seat, which okay, it has the power to do that.
Like I don't know if like like that would be hard for a regular human to do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
seats are
are
just
pretty
made out of
thick.
pillows. You didn't know that?
Yeah. So again,
There's
stop
a
the
frame in
fucking
there.
car. Just get out. Like, but no. So now we're there should be stakes in the scene, but the whole time you're just screaming, "Stop the car!" So
Right.
you don't feel any sympathy for this character.
But somehow Chucky's also made himself small enough to get under the seat.
Mm-hmm. And he's pushing the accelerator with his hand, which is overriding the brake somehow.
Even though
I
he's
mean-
the size of a small child and sometimes the size of a medium-sized midget.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so this car, it's the 80s, it's accelerating. It inevitably ends in an A-Team style flip-over crash. That's, that's a given. So now Humperdinck's kind of stuck in here, and like Chucky's running around trying to stab him, and he's like, "Oh, that gun's not going to do you any good. I'm indestructible." It's like, you're a doll. So finally he like screams and tries to come at the detective through the back window. Detective shoots him, and he just leaves. He's just like, "Ow," and leaves. Which
Well,
does
like-
get explained later.
Yeah,
But
I think that was the first time he realized he could actually be hurt as a doll.
Mhm. All right, so and Detective Humperdinck's kind of like, "All right, that just happened." And so we just cut to the mom is at goes to Charles Lee Ray's apartment, which Humperdinck gave her the address to, knowing full well that this woman has no problem walking into danger.
Sure.
So the apartment is just covered in some interesting artwork.
Also,
Say.
again, weirdly not a crime scene still for some reason.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like they knew where he lived, but never tried to catch him there. I'm
Mhm.
not
The
sure.
art-
if
the
serial
artwork was
killers
too
really
scary.
have a. Not sure if serial killers really have like I don't know an operation like that.
All right, so essentially, like now, Mom and the detective have teamed up. So I think his actual name's Detective Mike. So Karen and Mike form a team, and Mike's like, "Okay, here's the deal. Charles Lee Ray, his nickname was Chucky, and he used to hang out with this guy that he drew on the wall that like is into some voodoo, and I'm not even going to mention that the doll attacked me. Whatever. All right, so." He's like, "We got to go find that voodoo guy." So you go off to do that. But Chucky's found him first.
Uh-oh.
And here's about where you get the first actual like full body shot of Chucky moving around and pointing and stuff and talking. And I mean, for the 80s, I think it's all right. I
The
think
animatronics work well, I feel. Especially like for the talking, the voice syncs up
Mhm.
really well to the mouth movements.
Mhm.
Yeah, it accomplishes what it's trying to do. So So this guy John, Voodoo Shaman John here.
Damballa? Is that?
No,
Or is
God, I
Damballa
think.
is the god they're praying to.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, whatever.
So
I believe he's Dr. Death.
Okay, John Death.
yeah, So John Death here makes
MD.
a whole bunch of mistakes really quickly. So Chucky's there. This doll's just there talking to him. So Dr. Death's like, "Oh yeah, okay, that's."
He's
I guess
seen some shit.
Yeah, that's a thing that can happen. So Chucky's like, "So all right, so you're gonna help me here," and John's like immediately with the shame spell. He's like, "No, you're an abomination. You're a freak." Like at least pretend like you're going to help him for a minute.
Did we
So
did we say what the problem is? That the longer he's in this doll, like he's going to start turning into a doll person?
Yeah,
Like,
I think at this point that gets explained because Chucky's like, "Yo, it really hurt when I got shot." So
I bled.
yeah, what's going
that's
on
weird.
here?
It'd be funny if Dr. Death was like, yo, in all our training sessions, I never said you, like, couldn't get shot if you become a doll. Like, I don't know where you're getting that info from, but it's definitely not. Dr. Death's
So-
School of Voodoo.
Yeah,
No
but this is
refunds,
also
kid.
this is the point where you go, I think I know how to help you. Let me just come here and then just grab him and shove him in the fridge. You're
Mhm.
done.
Yeah, and so here's lazy writing 101. So
No, sequence of events. Man
Yeah.
yells at doll. Doll uses other doll against man.
yeah, so okay, he's like, "You're a freak. I gotta stop you. I'm getting out of here." And he goes over to grab something, and Chucky's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have told me where you keep your voodoo doll of yourself." And I'm like, John, what the fuck? Like, A, why does that exist? B, why did you tell anyone where that is?
It's like when he first had, when he had like an apartment warming, he brought Chucky and Eddie over, and he's like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and this is where I keep the voodoo doll of myself."
Of myself.
Well, yeah,
That's how he
well,
sucks his own dong.
I believe I believe he has the doll because he is doing voodoo on himself to make himself better somehow.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, so
But
I'll accept that, but it's like, don't
Oh,
tell
yeah, don't tell
anyone
anyone.
where you keep
don't
that.
tell
He
anyone.
just scotch tapes a bigger dick onto
Yeah.
it, or like I don't know.
No, as a
I
matter
don't
of
know if
fact,
that's how it works, Rob.
woo.
All right, guys, that was Child's Play from 1988. Tony,
Yes.
what does rotten, spoiled baby, children, Muppet, toddler jerks in costumes have to say about this movie?
By that, if you mean RottenTomatoes.com,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
critics gave this a score of 71%. Audience gave this a score of 63%.
Hmm.
That's their thoughts and opinions. What about you and yours, Rob?
Yeah, I'd put this, I guess, around a C minus. When I was a kid, I thought this movie was really cool for some reason. It's real dumb. Like, it's a real dumb film. The premise is dumb. The ending is real dumb. And it's just dumb. That said, it's dumb enough to watch. Like, it's dumb enough for you to at least experience once. I can't speak for the sequels. I think I've only seen the first 3 Child's Play movies, and I can't say whether or not those are worth your time. But this one's probably worth your time for once. So I think it's a very light recommend from me.
Okay.
Can I ask what were the scores again? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Critics gave it a 71. Audience gave it a 63.
Okay.
So what do you feel about that, Joe?
Oh, I'd go way higher than that. So I would say this movie is probably a solid B. I had a lot of fun watching it. There were some parts that did make me mad with how dumb they are. But like and the movie kind of gets worse as it goes on. Like, it starts off, I felt really strong, and then kind of like they're like, I want to do the cheap jump scares, and I was really enjoying the kind of psychological suspense that was happening early on in the film. I didn't like that it was only 83 minutes, because honestly, with how they started, I really wish they dragged out, like, when we got to see Chucky move around. Like, I wish that came later. I wish there was more time for the mom to really, like, have to decide between, is her kid going crazy or should I really believe him? Maybe more of the kid having to somehow try to prove something with Chucky. So I feel like they cut way more. They either cut or just didn't bother with way more of the stuff that would be interesting. That being said, though, what we get is still good. It's still serviceable. Like, the jump scares are effective. The puppetry for Chucky looks good. Both Chris Sarandon and Catherine Hicks put in a good performance. Like Rob said, I can't speak for the sequels, but I would be interested in checking them out in like 1988. Like, I would be like, okay, if there was a sequel, I want to see this. Now, knowing that, that you shouldn't bother with the sequels, I would, of course, won't. But that being said, yeah, I would say it's a B. It could have, but I think it had the potential to be an A in the beginning of the movie, and then they kind of squandered that. But that being said, yeah, they did adequate with what they had.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in here because I agree with most of what you said.
Mhm.
I'd be very interested to see the original idea of like, it being more of a psychological thing,
Mhm.
and is it the kid, is it the doll? We don't know, kind of stuff. It seemed like a very interesting idea they had there. That's I still like where we ended up because Chucky is fun, but
Mhm.
that would have been very interesting. I can speak for the sequels, and some of them are worthwhile. 2 I think is a lot of fun. 3 is stupid but entertaining. After that, I guess it depends on your preference, but they get a little too goofy for me, which I didn't like.
Yeah, Bride
And
and Seed of Chucky are both pretty weird.
yeah, Seed is really out there. But and like Curse and all them is just weird for me because it's a better return to the movie, making it more scary. It just gets weird for me because a lot of it is Chucky has a new person he's trying to get into, so it's kind of the same deal of I got a date with this girl, but that girl is played by his real life daughter, so it's a little
Huh.
weird.
Wait, Chuck whose daughter?
Brad Dourif's.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
So in the sequels, is he still trying to get in Andy? Like in
no.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
if
More
you
like
don't mind
revenge.
if you don't mind some spoilers,
Uh,
by the most recent one, I forget if that's Curse or whatever,
Mm.
but because they get confusing. But
Yeah.
they finally complete the idea that was kind of started in the second one, where there's more than one Chucky because his blood gets in the plastic and there's multiples.
Okay.
So it's a whole crazy thing there. But yeah,
But is it still whoever you reveal yourself to, or
I think I believe so. I haven't watched it in a little while. So
But each one of them would have revealed themselves to multiple people.
yes.
I mean, to other people. That's actually
Yeah.
that's way more clever than just
Yeah.
Jason or Freddy come back. They just
Oh
do.
yeah, and it's interesting because they have the kid that plays Andy is actually back in them at one
Mhm.
point, and he's
Oh.
he's held up in the woods as kind of a loner, and he has Chucky's head in like a safe that he keeps to try and be like, okay, I don't have to worry about him. Not
Which one is
realizing
this now?
there are others. That's not
Colt,
Curse. I think Colt.
All right,
Yeah.
I might give that might check that out.
But yeah, so like there are some good elements in there, and again, this is one where I mentioned I've seen it more than once because like around Halloween time, I'm looking for some scary movies. Chucky's a good one to go to. It's not the most terrifying to me, but it's enjoyable, so I like it. So recommend from me again, kind of like a B. Will.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep this short because y'all did a pretty good job of saying everything I wanted to say. I'm gonna say like a B minus for me. It's just a kind of a classic '80s horror movie. Chucky's always been in that kind of B C tier of the '80s characters that we all know and love. He still gets included in all the kind of like T-shirts and little memes that people do of all the classic 80 killers and stuff. But I mean, it's definitely worth checking out if you've not seen it. It's fun. It goes by super quickly. Yeah, similar with Joe, I would like to have seen some more of the suspense because you kind of know right away that Chucky's the villain. But other than that, I don't really have a lot of criticisms with it as long as you kind of know going in what you're going to be dealing with. But if you've not seen it, definitely check it out, especially around spooky October times, or in the same sense around that time if you want to have friends over and watch a few of the lower tier slasher 80s movies. It'd be fun to sit around and talk over. But yeah, I'd recommend it for sure.
All right, that's a full recommendation for Child's Play. What else we got for the people, Rob?
well, we've got a big episode coming up. We got a big crapiversary episode coming. So we got
those.
Love a good crap anniversary.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to have some chats about that at some point. But in the meantime, I think we're gonna end out this episode. We just want to thank you guys so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. I know I don't mention this often, but I would like to mention this today, guys. I want to ask you, if you're listening to this episode right now, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts and rate and review the show.
You there?
I think he's cut off.
Oh.
Oh,
Who, me?
fuck.
Am I cut off?
Yeah.
whatever you just spewed about, we didn't get
Yeah.
any of it.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. No, you were
Sorry.
right when you were about to genuinely heart to heart with the listeners.
Uh-huh.
It's
We didn't
gone.
hear anything.
Like
Yeah.
Oh.
the internet
It's the
was
man.
like, nope, this can't exist.
The man trying to keep me down.
Yeah.
So what I said and what I'll say again is please rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. It really does help the show as a whole. Gives us more visibility and puts us up there on those podcast lists so that more people will listen to us and we can keep this going. In the meantime, thank you so much for listening. You can find our episode archives at www.4ampodcast.podbean.com. You can find our merchandise at teespring.com/4ampodcast. You can, of course, support the podcast and get access to patrons-only content at patreon.com/4ampodcast. You want to talk to us? Ask us something? Tell us something? Tell us off? The 4ampodcast at gmail.com is our email address. You can find us on Twitter or Facebook, and that is all. Anybody else?
Bye.
I think I'm good.
All right.
Good night,
Y'all's-
everybody.
Y'all's is adorable. Have a great
You,
day.
you buy a creepy doll, make sure batteries are in it before it starts doing evil shit.
That's right.
I'd like to hug.
That way
Make
you
sure-
don't. Good.
Make sure it's not so it's evil.
Yeah. Switch to doll to good.
Bye, guys.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.